Hi, welcome to Winona. My name is Dr. Michael Green. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Winona. I'm also one of the prescribing physicians, so a lot of you have seen my name and we've conversed back and forth through the messaging platform on Winona. And so I wanted to introduce myself, give you a little bit of background, let you know my history, because you're putting a lot of trust in me, and believe me, I take that seriously and I appreciate it. But I think it's good for you to know sort of what my background is, and maybe that'll help you understand who I am and that I really do care about helping you. So we'll start way back. I went to high school in a little town. I tell you that because the name of my high school is called Rim of the World High School, which is just such a great name for a high school. When I graduated, I went to University of California at Berkeley, and I did my undergrad there in chemistry. When I finished at Berkeley, I went to get a master's in chemistry. I'd fallen in love with my future wife, and I promised my future father-in-law that she would get her degree before I went to medical school. So I did a master's at the university that my wife was at, California State University at Northridge, and we graduated at the same time. She got her degree in graphic design when I got my master's in chemistry. From there, we went to St. Louis University, where I got my MD, my medical doctorate degree. And so we spent 4 years in St. Louis, which really was kind of a really cool town. Weather not so great, but really great town and nice people. We had a good time there. At the time, I loved every aspect of medicine, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. And so I decided, well, I should be a family doctor, since that's a little bit of everything. And so I went to a program called the Ventura County Medical Center in Ventura, California, which at the time was one of the top family practice programs in the country. And I did my family practice residency there. While there, I found out that I love delivering babies. It was like my favorite thing to do. And everybody was telling me that I had really good surgical hands, and I was sort of wasting my talent not going to surgery. Plus, I really loved women's health. One of the nice things about women's health is you actually fix things and you can make people better. Internal medicine and peds wasn't really my boat, and so I decided, you know what, I really want to be an OBGYN. So most people figure it out in medical school. It took me an extra 3 years in family practice residency to find out what my true love was. And so I did a second residency in OBGYN. I did that in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was fun exploring another area of the country. And so we spent 3 years in Charlotte and really explored the Southeast quite a bit, traveling and camping, and really enjoyed ourselves there. I had fallen in love with Ventura, so I had my wife, and so after we finished residency, we moved back to Ventura, where I started a practice. And eventually I got a job running the clinic system for the Community Memorial Health System, and mostly, running the OBGYN part of the clinic system, but mostly being an OBGYN. We grew that system from 5 offices to 11 offices the time I was there, but mostly did full scope OBGYN and really enjoyed taking care of patients. Always my favorite part is being in the room with the patient and taking care of people. Honestly, the charting and the medical records and the insurance, not so much fun, but the one-on-one and the taking care of patients and seeing how what I was doing was really making a difference in people's lives, that's where the joy is in medicine. Eventually, I found a job as what's called an OB hospitalist, which is what I have been doing, and I am the site director for the OB hospitalist program at the Northridge Medical Center in Northridge, California. Like I said, I went to high school in this little town called Lake Arrowhead at Rim of the World High, and that's where my wife and I met up there. We got married up in the mountains, and so it was always a dream to move back to Lake Arrowhead, and we finally did. And so now I'm living in Lake Arrowhead. I'm living the dream. I live in this little resort town. I've got a little pontoon boat on the lake, and I spend a lot of time fishing, and my life is really great. This new endeavor of Winona has just been absolutely wonderful. It's another way to get to patients and offer them medications that really make a difference in their life. And hormone replacement therapy is perfect for telehealth because the standard of care for taking care of perimenopause symptoms and menopause symptoms through hormone replacement therapy is you don't really need to do a physical exam and you don't really need to do tests. So it's the perfect thing for telehealth. I can get your history through online questionnaire. We can message back and forth and answer questions, and then I can nail it down and write you just the right prescription to fix your symptoms and really change your life and make you feel better and get you through this transitional period that can be very difficult for a lot of women, and there's no reason that it needs to be. And so I feel really good about this. It's really an exciting part of my life now, and I love hearing the feedback. Women tell me how much better they feel and how much easier life is because of the prescriptions they were able to get on Winona. So that's a bit of my background, and I hope that helps. I have 3 boys. They're all pretty much grown up now. My oldest is 29, my youngest is 21. And one of the joys is that my oldest is one of the founders of Winona, and so we get to work together. So he lives in Puerto Rico. We live so far away from each other, but we're online in meetings all week long, and I kind of get to see him more now than I did when he was living close by. So that has been another really fun aspect of this, is working with one of my sons and making this project happen. And today I'd like to talk to you about the various offerings we have, the medications that we prescribe, and what we treat in Winona. And we have sort of an overriding principle, and it really goes back to when I was in residency, and one of my attendings said to me, do what you do and do it really well. And don't fiddle with things you don't do, because that's how you end up hurting patients. And so we're really focused in Winona to take care of your perimenopause and your menopause symptoms. And we do that through hormone replacement therapy. Now, just so you know, all of our hormones are YAM-based and bioidentical hormones. And that's important because bioidentical hormones are going to have higher efficacy, they're going to treat your problems better, and less side effects than synthetic hormones. And so that's an important distinction that we offer at Winona. We really don't offer that many different medications. We have estrogen, progesterone, we have something called DHEA, and then we also offer a cream called Blossom Cream, and I'll explain each of these things to you. The estrogen and progesterone can be found as pills or a cream, and we also offer estrogen patches. The DHEA comes as oral capsules.